Tonight, an arrest for murder in Virginia after teens tell authorities an age-old childhood prank, the ding-dong ditch, turned deadly. A high school senior shot to death while doing the stunt, his friends say, for a TikTok video. Now the homeowner, Tyler Chase Butler, arrested and accused of second-degree murder. The Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office saying in a press release it was 3 a.m. Saturday morning when they got a call for a burglary in progress where shots were fired. Deputies found 2 people with gunshot wounds on the scene. 18-year-old Michael Bosworth Jr. was transported to a local hospital where he died just hours before his high school prom. His stepfather telling me he was a student athlete who played lacrosse, football, and wrestled, now gone. Another teen grazed with a bullet, telling investigators, according to court records, they weren't trying to break into the home to steal anything. They were just ringing doorbells and running away. And a third teen, not shot, telling authorities the same story and showing police a similar video from earlier that night. The question is whether a resident can claim self-defense in such a case.
In Virginia, if you are going to use lethal force, you have to be in fear from the perspective of a reasonable person of bodily harm, great bodily harm, or death.
The sheriff's office saying the Butler is held on no bond at a local jail. We haven't been able to reach him or an attorney. The investigation is still ongoing and may uncover if it really was a ding-dong ditch that led to shots ringing through this neighborhood and a young life lost.
All right. Peace and blessings. All praises to the Most High. In the scripture, Leviticus 19:15 says, do not pervert justice. Do not show partiality to the poor or favoritism to the rich, but judge your neighbor fairly. And partiality means you don't take their life or perspective in the same regard that you take the rich's life. Now, why do I use that scripture? Because today, 27-year-old Tyler Chase Butler remains held in a Spotsylvania, Virginia jail under no bond after being charged with second-degree murder for defending his home, as he thought, against burglars. When Michael Bosworth Jr. and 2 other teens kicked his door at 3 a.m. in the morning under the guise of doing a TikTok prank. Now, I'm going to go over that news video to show you how ambiguous and favoritist it is to the perceived intruder, to the perceived suspect, and how unfavorable it is to Tyler Chase Butler, who has every right, as the lawyer said, to defend his home. Now, the details are very sketchy, but we do know that the young brother at 3 a.m. called the police because he thought someone was trying to burglarize his home. Now, they said the 2 teens were found on the scene, but they did not say where they were found. Were they found in the house, outside of the house, on the porch? You understand what I'm saying? But nevertheless, regardless, that man is being charged with murder. And the reason I say partiality, because there's been several incidents, namely Ralph Yarr. Ralph Yarr was a 16-year-old high school student who showed up at the wrong door trying to pick up his sisters when 73-year-old Lester somebody shot him through the door, saying that he was trying to break into his house. And it took hell and high water to even arrest him. They took 4 years to bring him to trial. When they finally was about to convict him, he perished. What about DeMontario Griffin down there in Mississippi? A black FedEx worker who was delivering packages, and a father and son team said he was a suspicious person, and they blocked him off in the street and fired upon him, hitting several packages in the car, one right behind the driver's seat. That father and son was charged with aggravated attempted murder, but they were let off on a technicality. And we can go on and on and on about black people showing up in white people's driveways. They get shot, and the white person says they fear for their life, and they get off. Now, this situation, the man clearly, this is not broad daylight. This is 3 in the morning. If you hear a knock or a bumble at your door, you're gonna think the worst. Nobody shows up at your house at 3 in the morning with any good intentions. Now, mind you, I've done they talking about the doorbell ring. We used to call it nigger knocking, where you knock on the door and you run. We knocked on the door. We didn't kick anybody's door. We didn't do it at 3 in the morning. We did it at a reasonable time. And so The fact that they are trying to paint it as a quote unquote TikTok prank to humanize Michael Bosworth Jr. And they show pictures of him as a high school athlete. And, you know, he was a student that everybody loved, and he died just hours before the senior prom. You see how they are bringing sympathy to the young man. There's no stories about his arrest record, or how he got in trouble in the 3rd grade. You know, there's nothing bad about him, but they throw up the mugshot of our dear brother. So let's break down this news clip piece by piece to show you how biased, once again, the news articles are in these situations. But first, let me play this video from my brother, because he seems to have a little more insight on what really happened. Check this out.
I don't want now one of you white tea people to come in here and say anything negative or even try to justify this little boy in no kind of way. Now, let me tell y'all what's going on. At 3 o'clock in the morning, Tyler Chase Butler thought his house was being burglarized, or thought somebody was coming in there to harm him. Since they said that these kids said that it was a TikTok prank, who kicked somebody's door in at 3 o'clock in the morning and expect these people just to be in their bed scared? No, this brother Tyler Chase Butler took care of his business, and he unalived the little boy Michael Bosworth Jr., just like Austin McCall. But let me tell y'all something. This man is sitting in jail right now on a no bond, like he went across the street and broke into their house. No, they came to this man's house at 3 o'clock in the morning and kicked his front door in, thinking that it would be funny to play a prank. You don't prank people like that. And now you're not here to prank nobody else. And one thing about it, this man, the judge, he deserves a bond, first thing first, and he should be acquitted. Because one thing about it, all he did was protect him and his household. So how is he being charged like he the one that went over there and did them something? They came to this man's house. We have to get justice for Tyler Chase Butler too, y'all. We can't keep letting this go on all around the world. Y'all see they getting bolder and bolder. And if your kids are dumb enough to think that they can go make a prank at somebody else's house at 3 o'clock in the morning, like you don't have real consequences out here that can happen to you, they deserve to be where they at, if you ask me.
All right. So according to that brother, they kicked the door in. Now, once again, I can't confirm or deny that, but I don't believe that it was a TikTok prank where you ring the doorbell. Because if you ring the doorbell, then of course somebody's going to come. But if you're kicking the door, nobody's going to come to we don't know what happened. And they said that the teen had a video of a previous prank. Well, where's the video of this one? Because if you're videoing one, 9 times out of 10, you're videoing the other. So let's and that's why I gotta break down this news article one more time. Wait a minute. Just rock with me for about 3 more minutes, then I'm gonna let y'all go.
Tonight, an arrest for murder in Virginia after teens tell authorities an age-old childhood prank, the ding-dong ditch, turned deadly.
Right there. Now, once again, children tell police an age-old childhood prank, saying, "Okay, well, no, these children were just playing." You know, he took it to another level.
A high school senior shot to death while doing the stunt. His friends say for a TikTok video. Now the homeowner, Tyler Chase Butler, arrested and accused of second-degree murder.
Look at the menacing photo.
The Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office saying in a press release it was 3 a.m. Saturday morning when they got a call for a burglary in progress where shots were fired.
All right, so they got a call for a burglary in progress. Who made that call? I'm pretty sure Tyler made the call. And look at this beautiful house. This young brother ain't out in the streets thugging, hustling. Evidently, he works hard for his property, and somebody came on his property at 3 in the morning. If this would have been a white person, there would be no article, there would be no arrest, there would be no nothing, because only white people in this country have the right to defend their property and to fear for their life.
Deputies found 2 people with gunshot wounds on the scene.
They found them on the scene. They don't say where they are. And look at the high school photos of the young man. There's no mugshots or arrest warrants, right?
18-year-old Michael Bosworth Jr. was transported to a local hospital where he died just hours before his high school prom.
You see how that is? Just hours before his high school prom, making him the guy that kicked a person's door at 3 in the morning, allegedly making him seem like he's the victim.
His stepfather telling me he was a student athlete who played lacrosse, football, and wrestled, now gone. Another teen grazed with a bullet, telling investigators, according to court records, they weren't trying to break into the home to steal anything. They were just ringing doorbells and running away. And a third teen, not shot, telling authorities the same story and showing police a similar video from earlier that night.
All right, that's a point. Okay, all of them, of course, going to have the same story, but why didn't you show this video? Because once again, if you're doing these pranks and it's on TikTok, then this would be on video too, right? It's a TikTok prank. But why are you doing it at 3 a.m. is the question.
Question is whether a resident can claim self-defense in such a case.
In Virginia, if you are going to use lethal force, you have to be in fear from the perspective of a reasonable person of bodily harm, great bodily harm, or death.
The sheriff.
All right, so that's another thing. Okay, you have to be in fear from the perspective of a reasonable person. Now, white people, police, all of these people can always claim they feared for their life without question. But you see the caveat, a reasonable person. So now black people are not reasonable. You know, oh, nah, he didn't have any reason to fear for his life. It was just a TikTok prank. You see where they're going with this, right? But everybody else can fear for their life. If a black man walks out of a ice cream shop with an ice cream cone holding it sideways, oh, I fear for my life. He was about to use that ice cream cone as a projectile and use his superhuman Negro strength, and so I had to take him out, right? But this man wakes up in the middle of the night with someone kicking his door, because it couldn't have been a doorbell ring. Someone kicking his door, and he don't know what is going on, so he grabbed his probably legal right firearm, fearing for his life, protecting his property, and then doing what he has the right to do under the auspices of the law. We all know about the castle doctrine. That is his castle. And he has the right to defend that castle to the fullest magnitude of his capabilities.
Sheriff's office saying the Butler is held on no bond at a local jail. We haven't been able to reach him or an attorney. The investigation is still ongoing and may uncover if it really was a ding-dong ditch that led to shots ringing through this neighborhood and a young life lost.
All right, so the last thing is very important. If it really was a TikTok prank, we don't know. We don't know, you know, and he didn't know. So why is he not afforded the right to fear for his life and defend his castle and his property? Only white people are allowed to fear for their lives in the presence of black people. You know, he was just a kid. He was going to the prom the next day. Well, he should have been, like my brother said, sleeping in bed trying on this tuxedo instead of kicking people's doors 3 a.m. Just like every time a black child runs away from the police and gets shot, or has a gun running from the police and gets shot, what do most white people say? Well, he shouldn't have been running. He wouldn't have been caught. He should have just complied. Well, with all due respect, if that young man wasn't kicking people's door in the middle of the night, then this wouldn't have happened. So I agree that man should be afforded the same right and privilege to guard his property and guard his life to the fullest extent of his capabilities, with the reasonable knowledge that a reasonable person would exude in that type of situation. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Keep my brother Tyler Chase Butler in the prayers, and y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Once again, I thank y'all for watching these videos. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you do want to contribute to the channel, you see the Cash App down low. You know my number, 919-587-7782. TaylorHousePublications.com is where you can purchase the books. Thank y'all for tuning in. Much love. Peace and blessings.